Hello, Pisces. Welcome and welcome back. We're going to get into a reading and we're going to see what has your attention and what is taking up most of your space at this time. What is on your mind the most at this time and what actually you should be focusing on. We're going to try to figure out why you could be distracted. Okay, so if any of you are feeling like, cloudy in your headspace, or you're feeling like, man, you can't focus, or whatever's going on, hopefully, oh Lord, hopefully this reading will help with that. Okay, we're also going to get some advice to see what Spirit wants you to know regarding these situations. So I hope these messages help you guys. As always, don't bring anything into your life that does not belong. Okay, go with your intuition, go with your gut. Go with your first mind, regardless of what I say. Okay? Okay. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe to keep the energy flowing. Like and subscribe to catch the vibe. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to all the subscribers, whether you're new, old, or in the middle. And shout out to y'all who want to subscribe. Thank you. Anything you need to know is going to be in the description box, okay? If y'all want to book a personal, all of that information is below. All of my channels are listed in the LINKTREE link. So let's get into it for Pisces. Guardian angels, archangels, spirit guides, and ancestors of the highest vibration. Father, Mother, God, for Pisces. What is it that Pisces needs to know? What has Pisces' attention, Spirit? What is taking up most of Pisces' attention? The Seven of Wands. So you're really paying attention to... Okay, first of all, you guys are paying attention to what you can do to kind of protect yourself. I feel like you guys are really focused on protecting your space, staying in your bubble, making sure that you don't allow things in to distract you. You're really focused on making sure that things don't distract you, that, negative things don't penetrate you, whether it's in your mental space or your everyday 3D life. And in that, it kind of feels like you guys are focusing on the what ifs, okay? Like the attacks that could happen or the unexpected things that could arise. And it could be because you're actually dealing with someone who's trying to catch you off guard, catch you slipping, who's trying to, pose a sneak attack on you or something like that. And it's like you're really adamant about not allowing negativity into your space. Okay. With this Seven of Wands, it's a determination to take action. It's something that you're really adamant about doing, things that you're really focused on completing, projects that you have. And there's like one person, because you see this wand is extended further than all the others. It's kind of like there's one person or there's one thing that is able to penetrate your sacred space or penetrate your boundaries or your barriers in a way that really irritates you. It irks you. I feel like whatever this is gets under your skin. It feels like it's the only thing that you are struggling a bit to keep out. Okay. And I don't know, it may be because it's connected to something within you, like possibly a shadow or a trigger or something that you've experienced when it comes to trauma. But it's like, dang, it's a pestering energy. Like it's that one thing that just gets under your skin that you can't seem to shake. That's what I feel like you guys are focusing on, keeping at bay. Okay. Then we have the Three of Cups at the bottom and the Page of Swords. So with the Three of Cups, this could be friends. This could be maybe close family members. This could be groups or clubs that you're connected to. This could also be like things that you want to achieve. Okay, hold on one second. Quick. Okay, so it's very interesting that my son's buzz came in the middle of me explaining this because I honestly can't remember what I was talking about aside from this Seven of Wands, but that's very symbolic and synchronistic because it kind of feels like some of you guys may be really focused on setting boundaries. Like your attention is really focused on curating. It feels like you're curating a community, or you're curating friendships with people, connections with people, communities that you want to be a part of, while also trying to maintain your authenticity and your individuality, right? So it's like you're kind of moving on from things that have been really difficult in your life, losses that you felt like maybe you've taken, victories that you felt like you've had in the past, just things that you have to transition through and, experience. This is a part of life, Pisces. It's not going to be a cut and dry answer all the time when it comes to the questions that we have. But it really feels like with this Six of Swords and this Three of Cups, and the Two of Wands, you guys have made a decision that you want to move forward in a direction that actually leads to some type of harvest. It leads to some type of celebration, happiness, a level of fulfillment that maybe you haven't had before. And you're very determined when it comes to these things to put up boundaries with people, to put up boundaries in situations that you feel like drain you or take you out of this determined safe space. Now, with the Page of Swords, it definitely feels like you guys are thinking about possibly the past with the Six of Cups. You could also be thinking about ways that you can accomplish your dreams and your goals, ways that you can overcome loss or avoid loss. All of these things I feel like are a part of you transitioning out of a situation or out of a mindset that you feel like maybe could have been negative, but also taking what you've gained from those situations and taking with you what you can use in order to facilitate the manifestation of your future, right? So it's like you don't necessarily want to leave everyone and everything behind. You may not necessarily want to block everyone out, but you also feel that it's important for you to have a clear defined boundary or have a clearly defined space that's just for you in your life. Okay. That's what I feel like you guys are really focused on. And I don't think that's necessarily anything bad, but I do feel like there's a part of this that can distract you at times, because it's like when you try too hard to do something, it could become frustrating. Okay. Like when you try too hard to set boundaries, or when you kind of become authoritarian or dictator-esque about setting the boundaries, it could put you also in a very rigid place. Like she's protecting herself in this bubble, but she's also by herself kind of like trapped in the bubble in a way. This could also be you really paying attention to how you've asked for help in the past. You've asked for people's assistance, but it's like the assistance never really comes, or it's not the way that you need it to show up. It's the way that's convenient for other people. And you could be in a position right now where you feel like you have to do everything by yourself because you don't feel comfortable or safe when it comes to including other people in what you have going on. Okay. Now, what does Spirit say that you should be focusing on? Wow. The Knight of Cups just popped out with the Death card at the bottom. This could be a Scorpio energy, but since we're technically right now we're in Scorpio season, so the Page of Swords is back again. Okay. So there's something very important about you being curious, you doing research, you allowing your ideas to flow and then pursuing those ideas, going down those rabbit holes and finding ways to get the job done the way you want to get it done, right? To get the job done in a way that fits with who you are. Okay? Being very creative, and I want to say mindful, but it's more so it's like being mindful of what you want while also incorporating things that you may not have thought about up until this point. While you're incorporating new ideas, while you're experimenting with new techniques and strategies to get what it is that you want, it's like you also keep in mind the goal, right? And because sometimes we can try things that other people tell us to try, or we can do things that other people suggest that we do that cause us to deviate from our goal. And it doesn't really bring us closer to what it is that we want to do. It may be valuable to, experience whatever they suggest or practice in whatever way that they see possibly could benefit us, but it's not so much catered to us, it's more so catered to them. And I feel like what you guys are trying to do is incorporate things that you see maybe online, or things that you see from people who you're motivated by, things that you hear from people who want to help you or who present themselves as wanting to help you, but also making sure that they align with your overall goal by keeping that goal in mind. Okay? I feel like it's not necessarily a Scorpio person, but it could be. You could have somebody pursuing you, someone who wants to be your friend, someone who's changing your perspective, someone who's giving you ideas, giving you suggestions. It's either a person coming in Scorpio season doing this, or it could literally be a Scorpio, maybe another Pisces, a Cancer, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, maybe. With the Page of Swords. But I feel like what Spirit really wants you to focus on is like seeing the possibility of the path that you want to take. It's like this image of the Death card shows the reality that is present, or that the reality that's current, along with the reality or the possibility of the reality that can come in the future. It kind of feels like you're in a position where it's like you don't want to do things the way other people tell you to do things. You don't want to do it their way. You want to do it your way. You want to have your own unique spin on what it is that you do. You want to make sure that the things that you put your energy into are also things that, push you forward and benefit you in the long run. But I think you're kind of focused too much on like the way something has to happen, because you see it happening a certain way, or you think it's going to happen a certain way. But it's like Spirit wants you to allow, at least maybe in Scorpio season, for your mind to be opened to the possibility of something happening in a different way than what you may have already expected, or than what you may have previously envisioned, okay? So let's see. Why is the Seven of Wands Pisces focus? Why could this be Pisces focus at this time? Yeah, because the Three of Cups. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this Three of Cups is. I'll clarify it, but the Ten of Wands and then the Six of Wands. This could be obligations that you feel, responsibilities that you feel. This could be, it's like relationships, because Ten of Wands, Six of Wands. That 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay. 10 plus 6 is 16, which is a 7. Back to the Seven of Wands. It's like what you're expected to do, what's expected of you by other people, what is expected of you when it comes to your friends, your family members, your peers, different clubs or communities that you're a part of, what's expected of you from the community, what's expected of you from society. All these types of things are kind of obstructing your vision or distracting you. It's like you're distracted because you feel like maybe you should be in a certain place by this time, or you should have this by now. That's what's the problem. When it comes to feeling pressure from outside influences about where you should be in life and what you should be doing versus how you really feel about where you are and what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? Because it kind of feels like you want to prove yourself to someone or to a group of people or to your family. Maybe you want to prove people wrong, because that could be it as well. But it's like you're putting this pressure on yourself because of outside relationships or because of societal expectations, the status quo, where you should be when you're 30. This is what you should have by now. You're 40. This is what you should have accomplished by now. You're 50. This is what you should have been able to do by now. Like, all of these things are clouding your judgment when it comes to what you've actually accomplished, the things you've actually done, the fact that your path is different. Because you're thinking, possibly, you could be, if you resonate with what I've said so far, you may be thinking something crazy or, unrealistic about like where you should be by this point. And that could be adding pressure to you to make you feel rushed or to make you feel like you're too late in a situation where it's like spirit just wants you to know that you're exactly where you need to be because you're doing what you feel like you need to do. What is truth? What is the true representation of progress in your life? Is it what society tells you, or is it how you feel about yourself? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I literally live in a 2-bedroom apartment that I had to literally exterminate the roaches from with my 3 kids that are now teenagers, and I'm in my 30s, and I feel like I've fallen even further from reaching my accomplishments than getting close to them at times. Sirens outside. Sometimes I feel like a failure. Sometimes I feel like, damn, I look at other 30-year-olds, okay, 3 of Cups. I look at some 20-year-olds, okay, 3 of Cups, and I say, dang, why is it that I haven't reached these levels yet? Why is it that I haven't gotten to these points yet? But what I reflected on, especially during the summer when my kids were with their dad and, during the time that I had to myself, is that I can't compare myself to those people, even though the pressure is always going to be there. I can't compare myself to those expectations because they're not calibrated to my individual and unique journey. I feel like you're under a lot of pressure because of those factors. And that is what is distracting you, or that is what's taking up a majority of your headspace, your thoughts, your maybe emotional reflection. That's what's taking up a majority of that space and kind of blocking you from getting these creative, inventive, insightful new ideas. And possibly could be causing you to feel like you're blocked or like you're stuck or like the walls are closing in on you, like you feel backed into a corner, like the world is against you. That could be the cause of it. And I feel like this whole, burden that you could be putting on yourself or that you could feel from outside sources are causing you to force yourself into positions, force puzzle pieces into holes where they don't fit, force the square peg into the round hole, which is technically like bumping your head against the wall because you think you have to be in this particular place at this moment in time. But let's see, what's the Seven of Wands? You know, and I might not be right. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments for sure. Okay, so we have Justice and the King of Cups with the Hierophant and the Two of Swords. Libra energy strongly, possibly Taurus energy. Also, again, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So a lot of you right now are focused on kind of like isolating yourself, being on your own, taking time and space to be alone. You feel like this is what you need right now, to be away from people. And I think that's actually happening because you made a commitment to yourself that you want to honor. Yeah, Eight of Cups. You made a commitment to yourself that you want to honor and keep. You made a vow to yourself. You may have made a vow to someone who you love, who you had to walk away from or let go of or grieve the loss of. You also, I feel, do want to prove people wrong because of what has been done to you, which, I mean, you have the right to do that. I'm not going to argue with you about doing that. But I also feel like you have this belief system or this expectation that you will find justice in being alone. I feel like it's creating good things for you because it's helping you to build your emotional balance and emotional maturity and to be more leveled when it comes to your feelings. I think that's good, but I also feel like there's a piece with this Two of Swords that's missing and distracting you from seeing how balance in these areas can bring more prosperity to your life, right? Just because you walk away from people or things that you don't like in search of balance and consistency doesn't mean that that will always bring you balance and consistency. Okay? If you don't pay attention to what people say, if you just block out everything and you isolate yourself, it doesn't always mean that that will equal peace. It doesn't always mean that that is where you're going to find what you're looking for. Just because you disagree with someone or you don't see eye to eye with a person or you don't have the same opinions with people doesn't mean that you can't collaborate with them or you can't continue to observe and absorb knowledge from them. Good competition, good debate, healthy debate is something positive. It helps to encourage critical thinking. It helps to encourage individuality. Okay? It helps you improve your deductive reasoning skills and your consciousness. You know, and I think some of you guys are a little bit focused on finding people who align with you and agree with you or who have similar, not necessarily agree with you. I don't think you guys necessarily want everybody to agree with you. I just feel like this is a situation where you want to find like-minded individuals because you've encountered so much opposition from people who don't see eye to eye with you and who force you to see it their way, right? It's like you are on this tightrope trying to find balance in situations in your life, and you've constantly been in positions either by choice or by force where you're teeter-tottering more on one side than the other. And sometimes we think that if everything was just quiet and we just were by ourselves and on our own, that would change the imbalance. But sometimes that's not always true. And I'm just being real with you. Just because a person disagrees with you doesn't mean they're a horrible person, or just because a person doesn't see eye to eye with you doesn't make them a narcissist. That word is overused. Just because you have a falling out with someone doesn't make them a demon or a horrible person. And just because you have a difference of opinion, or you are different from someone else, or they're different from you, doesn't mean that they can't bring value or add value to your life. And I think right now you're so focused on detaching from things and detaching from people that you could be losing your like feelings in a way. It's like you don't want to turn into a robot. And I feel like that's why the Two of Swords was there, because there are unknown side effects to having this perspective. Because it's taking up so much of your attention that you may be overlooking things that Spirit is trying to give you, show you, allow you to see through those connections or through those experiences. What's the Knight of Cups? Page of Swords. One more card for the Knight of Cups. Oh, wow. We have two major ones. Well, for you, Pisces, the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups. A lot of blue energy, throat chakra energy, you know, magenta, indigo, a little red, a little pink, a little purple, you know. We're colorful in this bitch. This is definitely you being curious, having ideas. Feeling thoughts, thinking things, feeling thoughts. That's interesting. Can you feel your thoughts? Feeling thoughts, thinking things, feeling things that are new, that are different, that open up your psyche and enlighten you to possibilities that, you know, you may have not experienced before. Believing that things can change, envisioning a reality where things can change, and then being curious about how you can bring that reality into existence. Remember, the Death card came out with the Knight of Cups, which was death and rebirth. And I think for a lot of y'all, this Knight of Cups is you. It's like you feel like, I don't know. Let me say this, because this could be a controversial take, but it kind of feels like you believe that you're administering someone their justice by not allowing them access to your energy. And for people who are problems consistently in your life, that could be true. But the thought process of you administering justice to someone is problematic. Because it's like, okay, if you think about that with a person or an individual, because you shouldn't allow people who continue to stomp all over you to be a part of your life. But also, I think that mentality is bleeding over into society or into communities, your neighborhood, your neighbors, people in public when you go outside. It's bleeding over into that, where it's like, I'm going to punish the world by taking my presence out of the equation so that people can learn how to treat me. And I don't think that you realize the full effects or ramifications of doing that. Because it actually punishes you more than it punishes other people, or it punishes you just as equally as it may punish other people. And that is what the Justice card is. Exactly what you think you're giving, or exactly what you think you're taking away from someone or something else, is what you are taking away from yourself. It's what you're giving yourself. Do you deserve that? Yeah, maybe there are times where you want to be alone and you have your own secret thoughts and feelings. We all have that, part of ourselves. But it's like Spirit is trying to challenge you to ask yourself what you can give. And I think the saying is like, the only true injustice, or the only way that injustice or negativity prevails, is when good people are silent, or something like that. And that's the vibe that I'm getting from this. 6 of Pentacles is at the bottom. You have the infinity symbol, equal reciprocity, give and take. That continues to allow the flow of balance to perpetuate. Yeah, and then wow, the Moon card at the back, the 10 of Cups just popped out. I feel like you fear, in a way, what comes next. It's like you're receiving these intuitive messages, you're receiving these downloads that make you curious about things, make you, inquisitive about things, make you want to find out more about what you don't know. You can feel underneath the surface that there is a change happening. And I feel like you are excited about that. It's like your instincts, your pure instincts, like from when you were a baby, before you were touched by the influence of outside forces, are telling you that the 10 of Cups is on the other side of this Death card and this Moon card. That the reality is something happy and positive that you will enjoy. That the outcome will be something that actually feeds you instead of depletes you. That is what your inner child is instinctively leading you to believe. And that's why Spirit is suggesting that this is the energy that they want you to be in, that this is what you should be focusing on. More so than what bad things could happen. But what's preventing you from focusing on it is feeling like you have to block yourself out. What's preventing you from really seeing it and fully envisioning it and allowing the power that you have to manifest it to flow freely is thinking that you have to protect yourself. It's like you're acting like a one-man band. You're acting like you have to do it all alone, and you don't. And I feel like you could also be feeling like the only way it's going to work out is if you do it alone. And that's not true either. And you can agree, you can disagree. It's okay if you disagree, right? My only thing is that you're respectful and you also give the same way that you want to receive. That's all I'm asking. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about engaging in a flow state with the messages that are coming out. Which means considering them, taking what you need and leaving the rest. And then also giving something when it comes to your engagement, when it comes to your presence, when it comes to your awareness that could possibly help someone else. I don't know. I really don't try to make it about me, but I know people probably think that. It is what it is. But it just feels like a lot of your focus has been on like getting your justice. And it's just like, that's distracting you. Now, why you're distracted? What is this 3 of Cups? For why Pisces is distracted. The Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. Hierophant. And the Chariot. Taurus energy, Libra energy, Cancer, possibly Aries. We saw Cancer with the Moon card. It's like you're forcing something. You're committed to consistently making progress. and not allowing space for like gestation, right? As soon as a woman gets pregnant, she doesn't have the baby the next day, because that would actually be considered a miscarriage. If the baby comes too soon, it's not fully developed, and that would be negative. I think you're looking at stagnation, or not even really stagnation, but it's like you're looking at gestation, you're looking at transition that actually doesn't really move, as something negative or as a burden, when it actually could be really positive. It's like you're trying to force the nail into the hole. You're trying to force something to fit when it may not fit, or it may not be time, right? You don't want to put chicken in the oven and cook it for 5 minutes on 700 degrees like it's going to actually be cooked fully all the way through. Like, that's crazy. Then you end up possibly putting yourself at risk against salmonella. I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, so please see the disclaimer below. It's like you're trying to force something to work a certain way, the way you saw it working out, and you're rapidly moving. You're constantly moving, and I feel like it prevents you from seeing the possibility of how things could go. Tower. So it's like, what's distracting you, and why this Seven of Wands is your main focus, which ultimately to me feels kind of like a distraction, is because, like, I don't know, it's like something happened. I don't know if this is a breakup, a loss of a job, some type of devastation that happened in your life, but there was something that snapped you into high gear, right? It snapped you forward. It snapped you into this rushing type of energy to make you feel like you have to hurry up and buy, hurry up and buy. Yeah, I said that shit. It's like, I don't know what put pressure on you, but it was a tower moment. It was sudden. It was unexpected. And you were just like, hell no. Yeah, Knight of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. Somebody could have said something to you, or said something maybe negative, derogatory. This could have been somebody saying, like, you know, I kind of get these vibes of these people who are supposed to be motivational speakers. The Great Value Kroger brand. I'm not even going to insult Kroger brand like that. The Great Value knockoff version of these motivational speakers who tell you to get up, no rest days, don't go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, dumb shit. That don't make no sense. That doesn't create any balance. I don't care what nobody says. You cannot have no days off. You need a fucking day off. Breathe, bitch. And all these routines and regimens that you see people doing online, and all this shit that people be talking about, going fast, is exactly why we fucked in the ass with no Vaseline today. You got to clock the T, Pisces. You can't allow yourself to be swept up in the current of bullshit. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have its space and its place and its value, right? It doesn't mean that there aren't times where that can be motivational. It just means that it's not a sustainable business practice for the business of you living your best life. I also feel like this could just be like possibly the full moon in Aries energy that struck you to feel like you had to take action. And because you felt like you had to take action quickly, you also equated that emotion or that sensation to feeling like you may have had to get results quickly. And that's not always true. I just keep going back to the baby gestating in the womb, or the chicken cooking in the oven, or even a seed that you plant in a garden. It's not going to grow overnight. And I think that's another part of what God, source, spirit, universe, whoever you pray to, is wanting us to understand about the changes that we're experiencing through the collective. It's like all of the stuff that we're experiencing is a part of the gestation of change for the better, due to all of the prayers we prayed, due to all of the intentions that we've set, due to all of the desires that we want to manifest. And I might be controversial to some of y'all when I say this, but I'm going to say it because sometimes drastic examples is the only thing that's going to kick you in a high gear. Right? But if you end up rushing a baby out of the womb, you're going to end up with a retarded ass baby. Get mad in the comments. You get what I'm saying? And that's what spirit is trying to show you. Like you can't, if you cook chicken in the oven and you take it out after 5 minutes and it ain't cooked yet and it's still looking raw and bumpy, your ass might get salmonella. Okay? I feel like somebody said something to you. Or it's like you compared yourself to a friend or a cousin or a sibling or a family member. It could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Could be strongly a Virgo, Scorpio, Taurus, Capricorn, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. This could be somebody who's a friend of yours. It's like you're distracted by what other people are doing. Like you're missing out on something, but you're really not. I don't know exactly how to put my finger on it, but I feel like if you resonate with this or if you understand what I'm saying, then it's meant for you. If you don't, then it may not be time. What has Pisces attention, spirit? Cheating in reverse, breaking through illusions, and a single man. Interesting. This could just mean you in your masculine energy, tapping into your power, tapping into your masculine energy, whether you're a woman or a man, okay? However you identify. Self-love. You could be getting over some cheating issue that you experienced, whoever you are. And then we have love abides. Feelings still remain. Rekindling the passion. Give it one more chance. Some of y'all want to find that good man, Savannah. He's a good man, Savannah. Motherfucker was a dog in a cage. Anyway, but some of you could be focusing on finding the right masculine or being the right type of masculine, finding the right feminine, all that type of stuff, avoiding people who cheat because now you see, like, I don't know. What is this? Cheating reverse, breaking through illusions, and single man. Page of Wands and the Hermit. You're like, oh my God, everybody's a cheater. I just need to be alone. Everybody lies. I just need to be alone. But the fact that you still desire connection, okay, because you can lie to yourself. I don't care how much you lie to your motherfucking self. That's on you. But the fact that you still desire connection tells you that these truths may not be truths. Okay? 10 of Cups. Strength card. See, you're focusing on like the desire that you have when it comes to family, love, connection, friends, community, balance. And it's like you isolating yourself with this hermit energy. It's like, yes, it looks good because you're going within and you're seeing the signs that spirit is sending you to tell you that it's good that you went within. It's good that you're loving yourself. It's good that you took time away. It's good that you took a step back. It's good that you have decided to dedicate yourself to this experience of, self-discovery. But it also reinforces the illusions that you are attempting to break through if you get too wrapped up in it, or you think that it's the end all be all of your existence. Because then you start believing that what you want doesn't exist, or you can't have it. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's, doing the right thing, whether it's persevering through hardship, whatever this is, it's like you can't get too far in the weeds, okay? Something is going to take bravery. Something is going to take courage. I also feel like you need to see both sides of yourself. It's like you want to be alone because you feel like that's how you can avoid these sad, hurtful, horrendous, negative things that have happened to you in your life. But that's not true. King of Wands and Page of Cups. Some of you have a Leo who is the focal point of this, or there's other signs out here, but Leo energy is coming through really strongly. It's like what you desire, what you want, what you feel like would make you happy is something that you're starting to think doesn't exist or it's impossible. And the more you isolate yourself, or the more you detach from community and making connections with people and experiencing life and watching people walk around and live their life and being a part of the mix, the more you reinforce those challenging and maybe a little bit delusion thoughts while tricking yourself into thinking that you're seeing more clearly. Maybe it's psychosis, but again, I'm not a doctor. So I'm just saying. You're focused on getting what you want. Some of you are focused on figuring out what it is that you want, figuring out what would make you happy. And I feel like some of you have realized that being single or being on your own for a while would make you happy. But I also feel like you need to keep in mind that that's not always going to be what you desire, or that may change in the future. What does Pisces need to know? Yeah, because when you get older, that's what this is saying. Sad woman, false mask. Listen, you don't have to listen to me, baby. I wish you would. I wish you would listen and hear me and then apply the things that I'm saying to your life by experimenting with the thoughts that I'm presenting you with. That's what my hope and desire is. For real. Because when you get old and you start thinking about everything that you self-sabotaged in your life, you're going to be a sad-ass, bitter-ass bitch, or a sad-ass, bitter-ass motherfucker. Sitting around with your false mask on, acting like you're happy when really you're depressed and you're sad because you didn't bond with people. You didn't have any intimacy or close relationships, and you deceived yourself into thinking that that's what you wanted when it really is not. Like, bitch, I don't give a fuck if it sounds cheesy or corny or not. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be an old ass person with nobody to hold on to at night. Yeah, it may be nice now to kind of have a little bit of peace because I've had such horrible relationships, not necessarily just because of other people, but also at my own fault. But at some point, I want to have a connection. I want to talk shit to somebody in the kitchen at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's just when we wake up. I want to have somebody to talk to as we're watching the hologram news in the future that's projected in our living rooms as if we're there, and talk shit about how all the youngins don't get it. Because millennials was the T. That's what I want. Okay? I'm not even going to sit here and play myself acting like I just want to be alone forever. That's some fucking bullshit, bro. You may be better off alone right now. That's cool. But don't play yourself and trick yourself off your square thinking that that's the end all be all of your existence. Because I'm sorry, but you will find that you are sadly mistaken. And unfortunately, the way this shit works and the way that messages come to me is that you may think back on this 50 years from now or 30 years from now or 10 years from now and see that I was right after you didn't want to accept it when I'm saying it. However, despite that being the possible outcome, I'm still going to give you the message now. There's somebody older who you could be taking advice from, who is pretending as if they're happy with the decisions that they made and telling you to follow their advice or giving you some type of advice that actually will not work out well for you because they're wearing a false mask and not being truthful about how their circumstances really make them feel. You need to know that. Whether this is your father, your uncle, your mentor, an OG in your community or your social circle, somebody online, this motherfucker is actually feeling like they fucked up their life. They ruined their life. They have consistent moments where they reminisce or meditate or think and contemplate about the things that they did to ruin their life, ruin their chances with someone, ruin their opportunity for happiness. And you need to realize that because they're wearing a false mask and they're influencing you to also go down a path that is negative because when people are bitter or when people have regrets about life or when people have not fully taken accountability or accepted the things that hurt them or are a part of their shadow, they tend to stand 10 toes down and pick a hill to die on, whether they're happy about it or not. And they will lead other lambs or other sheeps to the slaughter just to validate or vindicate themselves in the things that they feel sad that they fucked up. So they will stand on that shit until the day they die. And on their deathbed, when you've spent all this time listening to this person and implementing their influence and advice, they will tell you, hey, do it different. And you'll be like, what the fuck? After all this, now you want to tell me to do it different? That is why I'm telling you this shit now. Because you need to know that you're moving to a calmer, smoother place in life that's way more peaceful, where you can actually walk away and overcome any of the negativity that's happened to you and heal from the scars that you've experienced in life and actually see the light of a situation. But in order to do that, you either have to stop talking to this person, stop listening to this person, or create a boundary between what you know is good for you and what may have worked for them so that you can see the differentiation between the two. 3 of Pentacles. This could be somebody who you work with. But there's something about like this person's influence that's making you feel like you have to rush or do something, or there's something about like this person's like impact on your life, whether they're an influence to you or not. The way you think that they ruined your life, the way you think that they hurt you, the way you feel like they hindered you or held you back. Even if it's not someone who you respect or take advice from, it could be somebody who had a major impact on you where you think about this and it makes you sad or it makes you feel bad about like who it is that you are, and pushes you to change yourself in ways that are inauthentic to what you really need. It's like being in an illusionary state. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's what it is. The advice, Two of Wands. So you have to make a decision now about how you're going to move forward. And I feel like a lot of you guys you're leaning more towards making a decision that is fresh and new, doing something differently. Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. So honestly, I feel like Spirit is telling you right now that they're leading you towards making a decision. You're coming to a point, you're coming to a time where you're going to have to make a choice about what's real, what's fake, what you're going to invest into, and what's not important. What you're going to think, or the perspective that you're going to have about your life moving forward. What requires your attention and what can be ignored. They're leading you with these little bits and pieces, signs, synchronicities, dreams, premonitions. They're leading you towards whatever you need to make the right decision for you, to make the decision that's actually going to take you into this next phase of your life. I just feel like Spirit wants you to make the decisions that are right for you. And they're also letting you know that you're prepared for this. Wow, King of Swords and the Four of Cups. It's like you're making decisions from a place of disappointment about what didn't work out in the past versus making decisions from a place of optimism about what could happen in the future, right? And that's making you like be fearful because you're making decisions that are coming from or stemming from misfortune or disappointments that you've been through in the past. It causes you to fear the unknown. It causes you not to be excited. It causes a lack of motivation. And it clouds your judgment from being able to see clearly into the future of what could be. But listen, I ain't your motherfucking mama. So all I can do is just tell you what I feel like Spirit is trying to get you to see. And then hopefully you'll make the decisions that you need to make that are wise, that help prevent you from continuing to be in the same rut that you've been in for a majority of your life. Listen, for y'all Pisces who really vibe with this message, don't let any miserable people convince you that you should not go forward optimistically, right? And don't let anybody who's stuck convince you that this is not the way. Because I'm telling you this is the way. And it may not be all the details exactly to your situation. And I don't have all the answers. And I may not know exactly how this is going to play out, but I know that there's a unique and authentic way that Spirit wants you to move forward that's different from whatever you've been doing before now or up until now. And that's the point of what I mean when I say this is the way. Okay? So what is the advice? Inspiration, light bulb moment, message. Inspiration is everywhere. Capture your ideas. Right, but you have to get out to do that. Bravery, face the unknown with bravery, trust your steps. Prosperity comes from hard work and a love for life, right? If you're not brave, if you don't have courage, we saw the Strength card. If you're not brave and you don't have courage to follow your inspiration and go where you feel pulled and called to, then you're not brave enough to receive any type of success or prosperity. And you will continue to be in the same position that you're in. My question to you is, will you be satisfied with that? I mean, to me, the answer is no. But, you know, that's something that you got to talk to yourself about and talk to God about. So I hope that helped y'all. Be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. If this reading helped you in any way and you want to take it a step further, please consider donating through PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. I really appreciate you guys' super chats, but it is more helpful when you donate through those platforms. If each of you donate $1, it will go a very long way. And I really appreciate all of you guys for just being helpful and supportive. Thank you so much. Get in the comments. Let me know if it resonated. If you want to book your reading, the link is below. And I will see you guys next time, Pisces. Remember, this is our Circle Boost. Bye.